Hello and welcome to another edition of the Door 14 Hockey Podcast. I'm your host Marty alongside Aaron.
Hey, everybody.
This is becoming a trend now. That's 2 weeks. That's two podcasts in a row. It's just me and you.
I'm just happy that I'm impressed that I've been able to make 2 podcasts in a row. I think that might be a new record for me.
Well, I don't know. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that there's been a couple. You've been together. You've been here for like multiple numbers in a row. But yeah, two in a row for two of us together. Last one didn't go too badly. I thought the last one actually went quite swimmingly. So let's hope we can recreate exactly the same as 2 weeks ago and kind of have an easy enough podcast where we don't surprise each other with anything, or shock each other with questions that we can't answer. Dave and Dave's not here tonight for I can't remember what reason. I think he's not well or he's not feeling great, so he's not here tonight. But John is got work stuff tonight, I think, or something along those lines.
No.
Anyway, neither of them are here tonight.
Who wants to work at this time of night?
Usually you, sir.
Wow.
Usually you.
Okay.
But we have been assured that John will make his triumphant return to the podcast in 2 weeks' time.
But he's still been active on social media, so definitely check out there. I think he's done a couple of TikTok streams.
He has. He's been on TikTok. I think he's done a couple of TikTok videos. And I know Dave had sent him a parcel of gifts from Nashville, from his trip in Nashville. I think that arrived today up in Strath. And I think he's a very happy man to replace his recently broken Nashville Cup, which was his treasured possession. And I think he got that replaced today with a even bigger mug. So he was a happy man. And I think that was shown through his TikToks today. So yeah. We look forward to both of them coming back in the coming weeks. Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm good. Apart from this weather at the moment,
Awful.
come on, it's. I know we live in Ireland, but this is wet.
It's woeful. I'm now one of those WNKRs who cycles to work and back from work.
I had to spell that out in my head. I was like, what?
Yeah, I tried to spell it in a way that didn't hit their algorithm in the wrong way. But I'm one of those guys who cycles now, and you could always
Do you
be on my
spray the outfit on in the morning? Is it that tight light latex?
No.
I'm
But
guessing the Giants
even
sell cycling latex sponsored. No.
I haven't. I'm not that bad. But even the wet gear today coming home, I was still soaked. It was just awful day. But enough of the weather.
What about you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It's been a very, very, very busy week. This last week. So unfortunately, it was no YouTube video this week. Which was to have what was supposed to have out this week? I can't remember. Coventry. This week. And it wasn't possible to have the brief history of Coventry, so that will come out this coming Monday. We've got it sorted, so it'll come out this coming Monday. So hopefully that will be enjoyed by some people.
I messaged you that we were watching one of your videos during the week. I actually shared some of your videos during the week to a bunch of Americans in work. They were absolutely amazed that there was hockey in the UK. So I was like, hey, I know a video that talks about the history of the Elite League. So I was able to share.
Nice. Yes, last week's one was the seven former teams in the Elite League, and it struck a chord with people. It definitely had sparked some really good conversations, and some nice memories of teams who have gone by from the Elite League. Not so I think the one most commonly people were referring to were the Newcastle Vipers, and. Yeah, they were talking about a lot about the Newcastle Vipers, so it struck a lot of memories for people. So yeah, it was a good video. It was nice to see people commenting and leaving their thoughts and stuff about teams that they miss. And yeah, it was good to kind of interact with those guys too. I also learned there was a guy who commented and said he was part of the junior team, the Junior Vipers program, and he was saying that at the time, whenever he was in the Junior Vipers, the perk for being in the juniors was a free season ticket for the Newcastle Vipers team. I thought that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I wonder if any other junior programs still do that or did that in the past. But yeah,
you would like to think it would, especially like junior giants and all that kind of stuff. You would. That's an interesting one to look into that. Yeah. I remember the Vipers. My favorite memory of the Vipers is actually we were about to go on holiday with David and his wife, and I think there was a few others. They were going to Slough, and the night before we flew out, we went to a Vipers game, and there was everyone ended on the ice, like full on brawl. Again, early days. Absolutely insane.
I know exactly which season you're talking about. You're
Were
talking
you
about
there? Did we go? Were you at the airport as well when we bumped
no.
into the Vipers? No.
No. I know which game you're talking about, though. It was the Jason Rushton era of Belfast Giants, where Jason Rushton decided to have a fight or pick a fight with Andre Payette, I believe it was, and just it was complete and utter
Chaos.
insanity ensued. And I think to the point where there was kind of stuff put out there to say like it was not needed and stuff. Yeah, my favorite memory, but it's also a bad memory of the Newcastle Vipers, is the fact that they came to the SSE Arena for one game where they were short benched, and I think they only had it was either 9 or 11 active players on their roster for that game because they were so depleted, and they beat the Belfast Giants with 9 or 10 men or something like that. 9 or 11 men. I can't remember how many exactly. Someone can correct me on that one. Again, Dave was here. He would be able to tell us exactly what it was, but it was either 9 or 11 men. But yeah, the Vipers beat the Belfast Giants in the SSE Arena, or the Odyssey at the time.
No, a strong day for us.
Not a great memory, but it's also a fond memory of Vipers. Anyway, if you haven't watched that video, go over and check it out on our YouTube. I'll throw the links on later on in the podcast, and I'll plug some more content coming your way later this month. Aaron, if it's okay with you, let's get stuck into our period 1 of hockey. All right, period 1 is a roundup of news stories from around the UK. Pretty short stories this week. Very, very few stories on the agenda. I think there's only two to really talk about, and there's one DOPS decision which was released today. So I
Oh, hold on. What's going on? Are we not doing the league standings?
Now in a second. Sorry, I got distracted by a comment on the side. Like, I'm deleting that comment. I don't know what that's about. So anyway, the league standings are as follows. The Nottingham Panthers currently sit on top with 10 games played and 16 points. The Cardiff Devils are in second, 9 games played and 15 points. Sheffield Steelers sit in third, 10 games played, 15 points. Manchester Storm are in fourth with 9 games played, 12 points. Glasgow Clan are in fifth, 8 games played, 9 points. Belfast Giants are in sixth with 7 games played and 8 points. The Guildford Flames are in seventh with 10 games played, 9 points. The Coventry Blaze are, let me throw this up so we have it. The Coventry Blaze are in eighth with 9 games played and 8 points. Dundee are in ninth with 6 games played, 3 points. And the Fife Flyers are in 10th with 10 games played and 1 point. I forgot to throw on the little graphic for anybody who's watching YouTube. Apologies for that. If John was here, he usually does that for me, and I kind of keep forgetting I have to do all of it in one go. So yes, apologies. Aaron, let's take a quick look at the top of the Elite League as it stands on the 13th of November 2025. The Nottingham Panthers are still sitting there top, but again, very, very close call between the top 3 teams, Nottingham, Cardiff, and Sheffield. I mean, well, 3 out of the top 4, shall we say, are sitting up there in the top 3 anyway. Your thoughts on that?
But it's yeah, okay, 3 of the top 4, but it hasn't. Was Nottingham there top of the table last time we spoke?
It was either Nottingham or Sheffield. I think they were kind of switching around. I think Sheffield actually were sitting top in the last podcast that we were we were on, and I think it was Nottingham, potentially Manchester still, and then Cardiff. I think it was maybe something around that way. So it has switched a bit in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see Nottingham right at the top there. You know, they've had a couple of difficult seasons. It's early days, right? Okay, we've only had 10 games played, and it's quite tight at the top there, especially with the 10 games played and the 9 games played. Little bit of a break when we get down to the Manchester Storm and Glasgow Clan and so on and so forth. But those top 3, yeah, it's a title game at the top there.
100%. And I think one thing we can't take away is the fact that Manchester are still holding their own. Okay, they have maybe just dropped down the standings from the start of the league when they were kind of performing very, very well and sitting top for like a week or two. But they're still holding strong. They're still holding their own and sitting in fourth with 9 games played. Obviously, if that one game would bring up to what, and they won that one game in hand, they bring them up to what 13, 14 points and bring them up into it's actually still be in fourth place, but to be closer anyway. But Manchester's still performing pretty well there. Glasgow also not doing too badly, and Belfast haven't played the least amount of games, playing only second least amount of games. Belfast playing only 7 games, but 8 points out of those 7 games. 3 losses, 3 and 3 wins, 1 overtime win. Belfast are kind of, don't write them out yet. It's still early days. Again, they're 3 games behind the top teams there. So those 3 games could really make a difference and push them further up to the top 3 or 4.
It's just hooking out the old slides there. So it was to do a little bit of comparison to what we were 2 weeks ago. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, Sheffield Steelers were bang at the top there, closely followed by Nottingham and then the Cardiff Devils. So there has been a little bit of reshuffle there.
Yeah.
At the top there. Manchester Storm sticking it in at 4th, keeping it constant.
Yep.
Do you know what? It's there hasn't been much change in that bottom half. Guildford Flames have moved up.
No, there hasn't. As you say, I mean, I think Guildford had maybe dropped down one under Belfast. I think they were above Belfast, but again, I think it was based on games played at that point. Were they not?
No, it's actually the other way about. Belfast has dropped underneath Guildford. Guildford's moved up. I actually think that when we go underneath Manchester, that's the only 2 teams that have changed.
Yeah, because the bottom teams. One thing we should note is the fact that the Fife Flyers sitting in bottom in 10th place, playing 10 games, have got 1 point, so they're off the mark. At least they're not sitting on 0 points this season. They got 1 point. I think that was a overtime loss against, I think it was maybe Sheffield, and they got a 1 point from a Sheffield game. So fair play to them for getting 1 point and off to the races a bit, shall we say? After 10 games, we are going to come back to the Fife Flyers. It'll feel a bit like Déjà Vu. We will be coming back to the Fife Flyers as our main story in period 1, because there was another statement put out by the ownership of the Fife Flyers, so we will get to that later in period 1. Let's switch over, Aaron, to the Cup, which the group stage of the Challenge Cup has now been completed. As of, let me just switch the slide over. There we go. As of today, and the Cup has been completed, and the Group A we talked about Group A in the last podcast. It had already been completed, and the positions had already been decided. Sheffield, Coventry, and Nottingham in that elimination game spot. Group B is now completed as of this past weekend. Belfast Giants will finish top of Group B with 12 games played, 17 points. Glasgow Clan will finish second instead of the Dundee Stars with 12 games played, 16 points. And the Dundee Stars have now been eliminated after 12 games with only 13 points. It was looking very, very, very promising for the Dundee Stars the whole way through Group B, from day 1 of the Elite League of the season. Dundee were really performing well, beat the Belfast Giants. I think it was maybe 3 in the trot. Really were performing quite well in group stages, and we thought there's a possibility it was going to be Dundee and Glasgow and Belfast could be knocked out. I think even up to the last podcast we were talking, Aaron.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that all 3 still had the possibility of moving through or being knocked out or moving through. But we now know that Glasgow will take on that elimination game and will face off against the Nottingham Panthers for the final 4th spot in the semi-finals. Yeah, I mean, is it surprising?
Obviously, Group A isn't any surprise from the last podcast. It's there's been 2 games played there, but nothing changed. Group B, as we talked about, it was still in the cards. I don't know if it surprises me that Glasgow Clan did come out top. I think we had that little bit of hope for the Dundee Stars. As you say, they were playing well. They were keeping in it, and just at the last minute, the Glasgow Clan came in and clinched it. It would have been nice to see the Dundee Stars in it, but it's good to have the Clan in there as well.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you, Aaron. I think having the Dundee Stars there would have been a nice fresh change. But having Glasgow there, I mean, they performed in this last few games. They really pulled it out of the bag and did what they needed to do. That game against Dundee, where they beat Dundee, was a decider for them to push them up into those 16 points. And then it was obviously Belfast who finished it off by basically beating the Dundee Stars this past weekend to knock them out of contention.
the Clan just won. Was it 3 games? They won the 3 games on the trot, right?
Yeah. And so the elimination game, as we say, will be down to Glasgow and Nottingham. I think that has been penciled in for. I think I was reading today. Is it December? Start of December is that elimination game between both of them. So the last spot, the fourth spot, will be decided at that point. It's at this point where it gets a bit confusing. And I know John put out a TikTok video and then had to retract the TikTok video and put in a TikTok video straight after, say we got it all wrong. We didn't fact check anything. It is the most confusing part. This season, the Elite League changed how they were formatting the next stage of this competition. And they set out guidelines in relation to like how the seeding was going to work. So basically what they said was we're working on percentage of wins, losses, and all that kind of stuff like you normally would expect. So it's quite, I still can't 100% get my head around it. I know that Sheffield, having won the most games and winning Group A, are top seed overall. So
Right.
if Sheffield win in the semi-final and get to the final, Sheffield will host the final in Sheffield because they are top seed. So that's kind of how that works. So they're top seed. It's at that point who faces who after the elimination game is where I'm a bit confused. I think, if I'm correct, and again, I could be 100% wrong, I think it's Sheffield top seed, followed by Belfast second seed because they won Group B and they have least amount of losses after the Sheffield Steelers. I think then it would be down to Coventry would have the third seed because of the losses and wins in the group stage, and then Glasgow or Nottingham would have the fourth seed based on, again, on losses and wins. So it's confusing. Someone will be able to correct us better.
I know that you said that they changed it this year, but I feel like we talk about the Challenge Cup every single year.
Too long.
And so it's just generally confusing, right? One, it's too long. We talk about it being a weekend and stuff like that as well. But yeah, they changed it, and it doesn't feel like they changed it for the better.
No, they changed it and it made it a bit more confusing. I think, and this is the thing, they changed it and it's confused everyone. I mean, I've seen on different forums, on different social platforms, everyone has their own take on it and doesn't have a full understanding of exactly what it means. So that clearly states to you that the Elite League, when they put out their statement to kind of highlight what it was supposed to be, was as clear as mud. So I suppose the only thing we can really say about the Challenge Cup moving forward is we know the elimination game is coming. We know who the elimination game is between. After that point, it's a wait and see to guess who's going to face off against who. There's no point surmising who's against who because it's not that it's not easy to kind of understand. It could be like Sheffield versus the elimination game, and it could be Coventry versus Belfast, or it could be who knows. So we'll have to wait in game and see after that elimination game. So we will come back to you in a later podcast to highlight those that I suppose those seedings and the semi-final stage whenever it is decided. Aaron, let's move on to our first story of tonight. And we've only got two
I'm guessing you're going to go with since we talked about the 1 point.
Yes, the 1 point. That's it. The 5 Flyers. As I mentioned already, this will feel a bit like Déjà Vu because it wasn't either the last podcast. I don't know. It wasn't the last podcast between me and you, Aaron. I think, or was it the podcast with me and Dave the 2 weeks before that? I think it might have been me and Dave's one 2 weeks before that. We talked about the fact that the 5 Flyers had already put out a statement after a string of losses. There was an update from President and the GM, Max Breber, this week in which he said, "Hi, Flyers fans. There's no hiding or sugarcoating. As a club, management, coaching staff, and players, we all recognize that results so far during the season have been well below expectations, to say the least. We always envisioned this first season being very difficult with the late takeover of the club, the resulting late recruitment, and the sole focus of ensuring we just had a team on the ice. We expected highs and lows, but certainly not the level of frustrations we're currently experiencing. However, although the lack of goals and wins are clearly the areas of concern, this is one of the most hardworking group of guys I've come across. Last week's home game against Sheffield is a testament to that, and I thank our players and supporters for coming together as one of that night, getting our first point on the board against a very good Sheffield team. Although it is impossible to change what has already happened, I want to assure everyone that management and coaching staff have been trying our best to address the needs and areas of concern. After making 2 additions so far in Ferrano and Strum, it is clear that more bodies are needed within the lineup, particularly with goal-scoring abilities. We're hoping to have some more positive news soon in relation to targets who will bring another add depth. Thereafter, we really need to secure players that can find the back of the net. The ownership has reiterated their commitment to continuously supporting and improving the most important area of the club, i.e. results on the ice. However, opening the wallet is one thing. Finding the appropriate players with the qualities needed to address our issues and getting deals over the line to join us in Fife under our current circumstances is another battle altogether. Again, I want to make sure that our loyal supporters understand that the constant search for reinforcement has been ongoing, and we will bolster the lineup and the best available solutions as soon as humanly and logistically possible. Thank you for your continued support. Shortly after that statement, was put out on the 10th, so that was put out on Monday. And shortly after that, I believe that was on the 11th, the next night, the Fife Flyers announced that well-known player for the Elite League, Simon Dupree, who is a defensive player, not a forward, who you mentioned in that they mentioned they needed some scoring power. A defensive player, Simon Dupree, having previously played for the likes of Nottingham Panthers, I think, and the Glasgow Clan, so he's not completely alien to the Elite League, has been signed to the Fife Flyers moving forward, and he comes in as a former first round draft pick for the Ducks, I think it was, or was it the Penguins? No, it was Ducks, Pittsburgh. He has had registered 50 points altogether, icing for Pittsburgh and also Anaheim. So he does have NHL experience, and he knows. The main thing I think to take away from it is Simon signing on for Fife Flyers. Simon knows what he's signing up to because he's played in this league, and he knows that rink. He knows what to expect when he goes to Fife. He knows that it's not going to be top quality, state-of-the-art facilities, and he's there for a job and a reason. The reason I'm saying that is because the most recent departure from Fife Flyers came out and made a statement, did an interview in which he said that he was disappointed with the overall presentation of the Fife Flyers. He was expecting more. He's expecting better things from the arena, from the rink, from everything behind the scenes. And I think it became a bit of a culture shock for him. And I think that was one of the reasons why he maybe decided to leave at the time he did. But Aaron, I suppose, from if you're a fan in the stands, you've got a string of had a string of losses. You've got 1 point so far out of 10 games. You're clearly frustrated about what's happening, but the one thing Fife is doing is they're being very, very, very transparent, and honest about everything this time around, and which is something maybe that's refreshing for fans in Fife. Maybe they didn't get that before. Is that enough, that the fact that they're being transparent and that they're being open and they're being honest about everything?
I think that it's helping, right? And let's face it, I think via John, we're all a bit of a Fife fan as well. Like, they are the underdog. We want them to do well. There is so many times that they get to do this. They get to do the announcement to say, "Hey, things aren't going well. We're doing our best. We're looking for players. We're looking for goal scorers," and then they bring on a defenseman. They get to do this a few times, but if it keeps continuing and there's no progression, there's no change, there's no wins, they're not going to win the league, right? Let's face it. Yeah. But they just need to get some more wins on the table. Yeah, so as long as they start getting that, I think that it's going to help. I think that the fans are on no illusion that I don't think that they're going to. That they know that they're not going to win the league. I think. But as long as they keep that openness going and being that transparent, but they do need to start presenting some results soon.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the one thing as well, and I think I mentioned this to Dave about 4 or 5 weeks ago, is the fact that, whereas I think we're maybe guilty of it too in some ways, in that whenever the Fife Flyers announced, obviously, the changes, new ownership, new GM, a new era, a new way forward for the Fife Flyers, fans expected maybe big things. Fans expected maybe to start from, I suppose some fans maybe expected miracles straight away, and maybe we're guilty of it too in some ways, in terms of maybe we felt that this was a big shift, this is a big change, but we didn't take into consideration the fact that there was a lot more behind the scenes that needed to be sorted. That their main goal this season was to kind of get a team on the ice and make sure that they still had that elite league, you know, they still had that elite league position. They still had that role in the elite league, because obviously there was a talk about them coming out of the elite league because of reasons and stuff. So I think the main thing is to have a team that's icing and it's on the ice for the season, which is the most important thing. And I think wins will come, change will come, and it might take a season or two. And they've been open and honest about that. I think I'm more surprised by the fact that they announced in this on Monday. They announced, this is our goal, this is what we're aiming for. Yes, in the statement they said, we're going to pick the players that we need, and we know what we need, and we'll bolster our lineup based on what we know we need.
And they're looking for 2, right? They're look at all these balls.
The balloons came out of nowhere there. Wow, that was hilarious. Yeah, they're looking for. Yeah, I think they're looking at least a minimum of 2. They've got 2 that are currently waiting to cross the line. Obviously, one of them is obviously Dupree, who's been announced on Tuesday. But again, as a surprise, because as I say, forwards, and then also turned out to be a defenseman. So maybe the next one that they're going to announce in the next week or two will probably be a forward. Who knows?
It better be. Especially with an announcement like that saying that they particularly need goal. Now, I know Dupree has scored some goals, right? But he's defenseman, right? They need to get that those fours in there. So, but listen, all fair to them. I think we all want them to do well. I think, kind of as you said, I was remembering back as you were saying, we were all a little bit guilty of it. I even think that I had them as when we were doing our predictions for the start of the start of the season. I'm pretty sure I had the Flyers winning the playoffs. Right? Well, I was dreaming. We were all dreamers. We want the Flyers to do well. So
I think
these changes happen and they start getting those points on the table.
I think that we're, even if we maybe didn't expect, I think I'm not trying to defend what things we said, but I think even if we didn't realistically expect them to do maybe, win the playoffs or whatever, I think that was kind of our confidence and boost in terms of saying this is like this is what our hope would be, because we kind of feel like, this is a good sign. There's a step and a change, and it's a positive, and it's an exciting time, and it still is. Yep. And yeah, as I say, hopefully they'll right the ship, so that by the time it comes post Christmas time, which we know post Christmas we're heading into that post season kind of our area kind of thing. Hopefully they can turn their season around a bit and maybe scrape into the final few spots for the playoffs. Who knows? Might be impossible already, but who knows?
We'll have to pull this clip back twice. Me saying they're going to win the playoffs.
Yeah,
you imagine?
yeah, exactly. I know. At this point, we've got Fife for the playoffs, and we've got Coventry for the Challenge Cup. That's what we've got. Let's move on to the only other story for this period, and it's another signing that was announced this week, and that was the Cardiff Devils announcing the signing of former Guildford Flames captain Brett Ferguson. Former Guildford Flames captain inked a 1-year contract with the Cardiff Devils on Monday, recruited by Paul Thompson as injury cover. Ferguson has a wealth of experience, including 8 seasons in the Elite League and a 1 pit stop in the ECHL and the Slovak Extra League. Brett's game will suit the style of the Cardiff Devils, according to Thompson, and his experience of the league and his leadership skills will make us an even better team. He plays hard at both ends of the ice and is difficult to play against. I'm very pleased we're able to pick up a player of Brett's ability. Obviously, Brett is a well-known name in the Elite League, as he mentioned, having played for a number of seasons as captain as well of the Guildford Flames. Must be hard for the Guildford fans to see former captain switch allegiance to the Welsh team. But I mean, if he's in obviously as a injury cover, potential expected third line role, kind of nothing too heavy for him. I mean, it's a good pickup, I think, for Cardiff Devils.
I think if it, especially with it being covering the injury, they are, even though it's still early days, they're right still at the top there. We talked earlier that they're in that second position. injuries do affect. We know that injuries can affect how the game is played, and
100%.
getting someone like Brett in that quick as well is only good for them. So well done to them for getting that in. Of course, like as what does Dave always says, we hope they come second, but
Yeah, yeah. I think the one thing we should say, I think you're right there, Dave. Aaron, what you're saying there, just how quick they were able to get how quick they were able to switch that around and make sure that they brought in that injury cover of this level is very, very important. Obviously, competing Challenge Cup is now out of reach. They're no longer in the Challenge Cup. Challenge Cup is no longer something they need to focus on for the rest of the season. The rest of their season is going to be focusing on that league campaign. And they're not doing too badly, as we already talked about at the start of the period. They're sitting there and they're holding their own in the top three. Having this injury cover is important to kind of keep that momentum going in order to kind of make sure that they kind of stay within that top three and obviously are competing. So yeah, you're right. Very quick off the mark, and a good. Think it's a great capture for the Cardiff Devils.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I think that is the last of our stories. We have one penalty box, a really, really quick one from the DOPS decision that was made today. So let's just have a quick switch over to our penalty box and have a look at that. Okay, our penalty box is just a review of any decisions made by DOPS or any major hits or anything that is of note that we should be talking about. And there is one DOPS decision which has been made as of today, November 13th, and this is actually 9 hours ago. And this comes as no surprise. DOPS have made a decision on Sunday night in Coventry. Forward 74 Garrett Hunt slashed Blaze forward number 86 Grant Mishmash during league game number 42. The incident occurred at 52:30 in the third period, and Hunt was assessed a minor penalty for slashing. Again, with the effective immediately, Garrett Hunt is fined. So there you go. He received a fine for slashing.
Do they have direct access to his bank account to take that 50p, 50k, 50 million out of his bank account?
It still just cracks me up, the effective immediately thing. I'm just like, so as soon as they send out the email, is it like, quickly pay up, or do they have someone around? I don't know. It's hilarious. But to be honest,
it must just be a template that they just like insert section here. Boom.
Has to be.
Kind of like Trump. I insert name here. Donald Trump. Did you see that? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I didn't see that, but okay. The only thing I will say is, so far this year, Hunt has been making a name for himself. He has been a proper rink rat, shall we say? This season so far. In Belfast, in the Fife game in Belfast about 2 weeks ago, he made a nuisance of himself and was throwing his pretty much dummy out the window. He was just, and I think this past weekend as well, I think there was an incident as well where Hunt was against Belfast. Was it against this week? Yeah, where there's something to do with like him making some kind of gesture or comment or some kind of gesture towards standing on someone's, I don't know, I read something about he took someone's jersey, or there was a jersey that was dropped or something, and he was like standing on or using it as like a sneezing into it or something, some kind of gesture to say, I hate this team. Again, it's pantomime type stuff. And he's so not surprising.
This is just a minor penalty for slashing, right? There's no bans or anything like that. It's just he was fined immediately. They came out and got out his wallet. Okay.
I think it's more to do with repeat offenses rather than an actual fact that it's a slashing, because let's be honest, how many times do we see slashing as a minor penalty called in a game? So what makes a difference is probably the fact that it's probably the severity of it, but also just the consistency of how often he's done it. Maybe it's just a repeat offense, and it's just like, right, we need to do something about it. So there you go.
Keep an eye out for Mr. Gareth Hunt's name for the rest of the season if there are more repeat offenses.
Exactly. And that is it. No other stories for this period, and that's our period done. So I think with that, let's move on to our period 2 of hockey.
Okay, everybody, well, welcome to period 2 of hockey, where we talk about, well, hockey from anywhere else or around the world. Usually it's a little bit of NHL and a bit of everything. But just like in the first period, we do start off with an overview of the standings for, in this case, the NHL. Now, if I was to start off at Marty, if you want to put the lovely slides that you've got, look at that. I actually do want to call it. These are really nice slides, man.
Thanks. I was not lazy this week, and I actually had time to go and do it, so I put them together, and I was like, "Yay! Finally, it all matches." So I'm happy.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So right in the Atlantic Division, we have the Montreal Canadiens with 16 games played and 22 points. Boston Bruins up at the top there with 18 games and 22 points. And the Senators there with 17 games played and 20 points. Just to give you a bit of a reminder from last time we spoke, the Montreal Canadiens were right at the top there as well, but we did have Detroit Red Wings and Florida Panthers there at the top. So that is quite a bit of change with Boston Bruins and the Senators coming up there. Moving on to the Metropolitan Division, we've got New Jersey Devils sticking it, keeping it there at the top with 17 games played and 25 points. Carolina Hurricanes moving up one spot with 16 games and 22 points. And our most loyal fan will be happy because the Pittsburgh Penguins have moved up to the third spot with 17 games played and 21 points. In the wild card, again, I know it's early days here, but it's giving me hope. We're in the wild cards, and we've got the New York Rangers with 18 games played and 20 points, and the Philadelphia Flyers with 16 games played and 19 points. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been there, so I'm quite happy with that. Moving over to Central, we have a lot of change, actually. We've got the Avalanche with 17 games played, 27 points. That's a massive 27
It's
points.
massive. Yeah.
Yeah, compared to everywhere else. Dallas Stars with 17 games played and 23 points, and the Winnipeg Jets with 16 games played and 20 points. From that, the Avalanche have moved up one spot, and then the Dallas Stars and Winnipeg Jets have actually stayed the same. Dallas Stars have dropped off. And last week, can you remember, or 2 weeks ago, can you remember who was top of the game there?
Utah, was it? No, or they're in group. They're in Pacific.
They've actually dropped down to a wild card spot.
Yeah.
Moving on to Pacific, we have the Anaheim Ducks at 16 games played with 23 points. That's new. They've done well there. The LA Kings have moved up one spot with 17 games played and 20 points. And then the Edmonton Oilers with 18 games played and 20 points. So again, across pretty much every division there, we're seeing quite a lot of change. It is early days still. It's just like the likes of Montreal Canadiens and the Avalanche are keeping tight and keeping it at the top there.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at that. I mean, you're right. The Colorado Avalanche. I mean, 27 points from 17 games, having only lost one game so far. It's all for them. It's all about the overtime win. It's all about the overtime. They've obviously had 5 overtime wins out of those 17 games, so they're making a big difference for them right now. They're just really kind of making sure they get those last points. But fair play. I mean, that is a big difference. Yeah, massive difference.
It's just if we just across the board, right? It's one game more than the likes of Montreal Canadiens, but 5 more points. So yeah, they're the team to keep an eye out for so early doors. But as I say, everywhere else, it's quite a lot of change. The Montreal Canadiens are sticking to the top, and New Jersey Devils are actually staying there as well. But quite a lot of change elsewhere. Any teams? What about I don't have the full league here. What about the likes of the Leafs?
Well, let's not talk about the Leafs right now. Leafs are currently sitting in 9th spot in the wild card spot. They're sitting down in 9th. 17 games played and 17 points. 8 wins, 8 losses. Not doing great, to be fair. Really having a bit of a struggle season so far this year. It's so not really much more to say apart from that.
Moving on. What about go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, I think I was really surprised when I was looking through the stuff this week and preparing the episode and just seeing a couple of the games this week. over the weekend. I was able to kind of see a couple of games for reasons, and the Philadelphia Flyers definitely showing a massive switch up, definitely performing well. So yeah, you must be a happy man.
Yeah, so far we'll just keep my eye out for them. I'm not going to say that they're going to win the playoffs just yet or anything like that, or win the Stanley Cup, right? But let's just keep an eye on them and see how they go. And they are starting to play a bit better. So I'm just sitting here hopeful. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
What about the Wild? Where are they at these days?
The Wild are currently sitting. Let's have a quick look at that list and see where the Wild are currently sitting. So the Wild are currently sitting in 6th place in the wild card spots, and Nashville are about the same as Toronto. They're sitting in 9th place, having played 18 games and only having 14 points from the 18 games. So yeah, not doing too well either.
No, I was looking forward to hear about Nashville from Dave today. We'll have to get the updates.
Yes, we'll have to wait for the next one before we can find out what's going on. Yeah.
But speaking of Nashville,
yes.
Do you want to move on to your next story?
Yes, let's do it. I just want to address one thing first before we move on, because I just seen a comment here. No, it's okay. I just seen a comment from Anthony here. He's put up Lazio where you're in some sort of mobile mode and they're super hard to read. There is some new feature on StreamYard, which is the streaming service that we use when we're doing our live podcasts. Some kind of new thing that I couldn't switch off, which I'll try and figure out for the next podcast. But if you go into YouTube, you do have the option of either watching the podcast either on a mobile version or on a widescreen large version like you would normally watch landscape wise. So there is 2 versions on our YouTube channel. You just have to go in and select the one you want to watch. I think possibly though, by default, if you're on a mobile device and you're watching through YouTube on a mobile device, it will automatically default to the landscape mobile phone version of the podcast. So apologies for that this week. We will get that sorted next week so that it doesn't actually show up and it's just back to its normal format of the standard landscape. I don't know if it's when you turn your phone in landscape wise, does it change over? Who knows? So apologies for that for this week. Anyway, moving on to our first story. And you are 100% right. The first story for this week is the fact that the Global Series, NHL Global Series Sweden 2025, kicks off tomorrow in Stockholm, 14th and 16th of November. The National Hockey League, these are normal, regular played season games. And this is the 15th season in a row that the Global Series has taken place. The Global Series this year does see the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Nashville Predators. The teams are set to play regular season games, as I said, 15th season since they first did so in 1997, 1998, and they will take on in the Global Series Sweden this year. The games are usual places to watch, and they will be on European time. For anybody who's listening or watching in the States, they will be European time, so remember that whenever you're trying to log into your provider of choice for watching the Global Series. I think it is a lot earlier in the day. I think it's.
I was about to say, that's tomorrow, right? So does that mean tomorrow? I'm totally going to be doing work tomorrow?
Well, for us, it's normal time, I think, but for the States, it's earlier. So I think it's for us, it's still the evening time. Still be like 7 o'clock or 7:30 face off here, but it'll be earlier in the States for them. So it's like 3 o'clock or something like that. Is that Central Time? I don't know the differences. I can never remember. Eastern, it's like 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday.
We'll be catching that. I'm sure he will.
So who? Sorry,
Mr. Ford.
Possibly, but we have a friend, the most loyalist fan, is actually away to Sweden to watch the games live, I believe. So we hope he has a great time watching those over there.
Definitely share those pictures.
Yes, he more than likely will do. He always does. So yes, if you're interested, you will be able to watch those early games or those regular games at a more decent time here in the UK. But they will be tomorrow, Friday the 14th, and again then on Sunday the 16th of November.
Strange one that we're going to keep with the NHL and Europe here, not
100%.
Sweden, but Switzerland. What's going on there?
Yeah, so as of this week, again, I think it was 2 days ago, the NHL announced they are opening a European office in Switzerland. So the National Ice Hockey League has opened a new office in Europe as it seeks to expand its presence across the continent. So obviously the global series is one aspect of some of the stuff that they're trying to do. They're trying to broaden the audience membership in Europe. They're doing obviously the street hockey stuff that we talked about at the very start of this season, where they were talking about the whole street initiative, which is obviously part of that whole thing in Europe as well. So the new office in Zurich, Switzerland, will look to expand the league's footprint across Europe, focusing on international operations, strategy, development, media, and sponsorship sales to try and encourage more fan engagement events and initiatives such as the NHL Global Fan Tour, the NHL Street Hockey, which we just discussed, and also they're hoping to bring along Hockey Day celebrations like they do in the States into Europe. It will also focus on a Swiss-based team.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
this is one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I did see some comments, some tweets, some whatever going on social media about the NHL expanding to Europe and having
Yeah.
a Swedish-based team.
I mean, there has been so much talk in recent years of the NHL expanding teams into Europe. They talked about, where would those teams be if the NHL were to think about an expansion series that would incorporate Europe. There had always been rumor mills going on about the different cities that would be maybe the ones that would be targeted. Sweden was one, actually. London was another. No, no surprise there. They did talk about Germany and Berlin, obviously another big, massive market for hockey there too. So, announcing Switzerland is the first area where there's likely going to be an expansion for a team there. It's quite surprising, but
Um,
how will that work? Is
I
my
was going to say,
question.
and we're talking expansion. We're not talking like another league. We're talking about a Swedish-based team playing in the NHL.
Who knows? I don't really understand what that would mean. Focusing on a Swiss-based team, as you say, like it's not like they're gonna fly over to the States every other day to kind of go and play in the States against some team in either the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference, whatever one they would fall into. So I don't really understand where this has come from. Is it there going to be a Swiss-based team that is going to be competing in a Swiss-based league for the start or something? Who knows? I really don't know. I didn't really understand that aspect of this article. This is from sports roundup, which is
Yeah, and
the
it
Sportcast.
wasn't, as I say, it's not the first time I heard it. I say there's definitely some comments going around on Twitter and things like, or sorry, X, talking about it. A lot of people weren't happy about it, to be honest with you. They were like, get it right at home, make sure there's improvements there before trying to expand halfway across the world.
Yeah, I mean, the deputy commissioner for the NHL came out and he said it's a pivotal moment in a global journey. They want to we're going to establish our corporate presence in Europe, marking a critical step forward, allowing us to deepen our connections with international fans and partners alike. By investing in a new office, we're positioning ourselves to further and better grow the game of hockey outside of North America. I agree with you. A lot of the feedback, as you were saying, does seem to kind of focus in on the fact that, like, there's so many little things that aren't working correctly in the States. So why would you not focus on those, and why you kind of expand it? But again, think about the overall potential for bigger sponsorship deals, for
Yeah.
TV deals, for everything that the NHL can then pull in to make their already $1 billion company even bigger $1 billion company. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works. They did say, just to put it in context, Switzerland is, well, they're saying Switzerland is one of Europe's strongest ice hockey markets, and it's been a priority for the NHL for recent years. The league is going so far as to host preseason exhibition fixtures in the country against sides of Swiss Domestic National League. There are 10 Swiss players currently active in the NHL, making it one of the most represented nationalities outside the US and Canada in the league. And also then they have announced basically that so basically that's the whole idea, is that this is the kind of the first step into a massive European adventure for the NHL. So again, early days, we always see these stories pop up, but the fact that they have now basically said, "Yep, we've got an office now based in Europe, and this is the start of things," it maybe just put a wee bit more momentum into the fact that actually, yeah, there is actually something happening. So it's no longer just rumor mill; it's actually
They're
actual
investing
action.
in an office, so
Yeah.
that they want to see stuff happen. And like, do you think this has anything to do with the Dublin arena that we talked about way back in the day, and there was an NFL link there?
I don't think so. I genuinely don't. Although in saying that, we could be surprised. It could end up being one of those ones where it's like, an NHL team in all major European cities. That maybe that's
Yeah.
the target. Switzerland's one, London will be another, Berlin will be another, Dublin for Ireland. Paris. Team in Paris. Who knows? Maybe that's their ambition is to make a global like capital city team
Yeah.
type thing. Who knows? But yeah, that Dublin one, it's still kind of running and behind the scenes, and still rumors around what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
There was a conversation, just going back to Elite League stuff for a second. There was a conversation. It was either on a pod. I think it was either on the Cardiff Devils podcast recently, or it was a podcast that Todd Kelman was featured on, in which he was talking. And Todd Kelman, obviously, as we know, is part of the board of the Elite League, and he made it very clear that there looks to be potentially an expansion of 2 new Elite League teams in the pipeline. Someone in the comment section in our YouTube video actually said that they believe it was going to be the Newcastle Vipers being announced as coming back. So hockey back on the Tyneside. I don't know if I think that's what it is. I think if we're looking at potential for teams coming back, I think we're looking at potentially an announcement for maybe like Edinburgh again, maybe London, maybe Dublin, maybe is the announcement. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it does seem it would be nice to see Edinburgh back. But why do you not think the Vipers?
I just don't think. I don't. I just think the infrastructure facilities still aren't really there for Elite League.
And you think that they're there for Edinburgh?
Well, Edinburgh put a bit of effort into recent years to kind of redo themselves, and they've obviously done up the rink a bit.
Okay.
They've obviously made major changes up there. It's still a good old-fashioned ice hockey rink in Edinburgh, but the infrastructure is there. The team is there
I guess
already competing.
We've talked more about Edinburgh in the last couple of years, trying to make a comeback and things like that. They're fairly also a lot more recent, leaving the league than the Vipers. But we have had more conversations about Edinburgh trying to get back.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably right.
I think the main problem with Newcastle, the Vipers, would be, as I say, the facilities just aren't there. It's not like they're going to be playing in Whitley again, and there's definitely not going to be able to get a chance to play in the Metro Arena in Newcastle. I think Metro Arena have finished with that idea of playing ice hockey in that arena any further. I don't think that's ever going to go back to that point. I know they played there back in the day, but I think Metro Arena, have just kind of came to a point where, like, yeah, we're not a hockey arena anymore. I don't think we want to go back to that. So yeah, time will tell. If it does happen, if it transpires that there is 2 new teams, it's going to be an exciting time to see where the rumors start to go of like where that's going to pop up. My take is still probably Dublin, because it's been rumored so heavily over the last few months, and Dublin, because it's been heavily rumored over the last few months, and potentially maybe a London franchise. Who knows? Anyway,
we could get the London franchise back again, to be fair.
Exactly. Moving on.
Yeah, and we've got another thread there. It's like this was all planned, Marty. Speaking of expansions.
Yes, speaking of expansions, the PWHL, the Women's Hockey League, the Professional Women's Hockey League, announced their first ever expansion team names for the 2025-2026 season. The Seattle Torrent and the Vancouver Golden Eyes. These teams will take the league from 6 to 8 teams, joining the original 6: Boston Fleet, Minnesota Frost, Montreal Victory, New York Sirens, Ottawa Charge, and the Toronto Scepters. The inaugural game will take place against each other next week, November the 21st, 2025, at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, when the Golden Eyes will take on, which is going to be the Golden Eyes' new home, and they'll be the home team facing off against the newly created Seattle Torrent. Vancouver hosts the first game of that series, and Seattle will host their season at the Climate Pledge Arena. So again, good things coming. The names obviously have been announced.
I love Vancouver Golden Eyes. Like it just like sings 007 to me. To be fair, I wonder if that actually is the reference. I'm so naive to this. Maybe there's another reference to Vancouver and Golden Eyes. Is there? No.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who
Love that
knows?
name. The problem is with the Seattle torrent. To me, I appreciate it's probably going to do with a torrent of a river, torrent of the sea, right? But I just see that as the Seattle, illegal streaming service.
I think they said. I think there was a thing where they said it was like torrential. Like Seattle's well known for its rain.
Rain, yeah, okay.
Torrential rain, torrential. They will rain torrentially. As a play around words, I think on that. I think, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see that the expansions happening, and I think there was also I couldn't find the link, but I was reading something then earlier in the week as well, and I couldn't go back and find the link I was reading. It was one of those ones where I was trying to find my history to go back and see if I could find it, and they were talking about already of the next expansion of the Women's Hockey League in terms of taking it from 8 to 10. The idea is obviously over the course of the next few years is to expand the PWHL so that they have a female team equivalent to the male NHL team. So that's a big ask if you're thinking you're going to have, your whole 32 teams. You're going to have 32. So it'll take its time, but it's great to see that that those expansions are happening.
Say it'll take its time, but one of the final sentences there in that article that you're talking about was like between the first and second season of the league, the average game attendance increased by 27%, so nearly 30%.
Massive.
And both league and team social media impressions increased by 68%. So it is becoming a lot more popular, and that's the social media impressions I think is cool, going up by 80 or 70%. That's a lot of people are watching them, but actually game attendance increasing by 27%, maybe 30%.
Massive.
That's
massive.
That's so.
I think what we should. The other thing I wanted a nice little sideways kind of comment in on this as well. Is I just wanted to highlight, especially in this comment in this article that they were talking about, the fact that a lot of these young ladies who are coming in and playing in this league are all coming from collegiate level hockey. So we're talking NCAA style hockey. We have an NCAA tournament coming up, male NCAA tournament coming up at the end of this month in Belfast. But we also have the first Friendship Series 4 female team coming in for full tournament style games, which are similar to the male one, this coming January as well. And some of those teams that are talked about in here for these draft picks that they have been picked for, so the likes of Nina Jobsmith from University of Minnesota Duluth. Again, these are all players that if you think about it, whenever you're going to be watching the female games in January here in Belfast, those names are going to be the future names for the PWHL.
Yeah.
So it's worth if you haven't done it, it's worth making sure you get tickets for that one as well. So yeah, great one. It's good. And as you say, massive increase. Obviously impressions, social media impressions, as well as attendance and stuff. So yeah, we hope for big things there. And I think, Aaron, that's my last story.
That's it. I'm just looking at some of the comments here, and Anthony's put up some comments about kind of confirming the things that you're saying. Manchester have nowhere to play. The Metro Arena aren't interested. And Edinburgh Capitals are happy in the SNL making a bit of coin. It's a very valid point. So, as you said, maybe it is. That's kind of leaning towards the Dublin and the London.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Because I'm trying to think where else. I mean, the only other one, and again, probably they're well placed sitting. The only other team I could think of, which would be a really good team to bring in, which I always talked about, which would be kind of just in that geographically good area, would be somewhere like Leeds. But again, Anthony will probably agree with me on this one. Leeds are probably in a really good position at the moment in the league they're in. They're probably happily playing in the NIHL. They're performing pretty well in the league that they're built into. I've seen other comments from people online whenever we were talking about in that thread on YouTube, people talking about Milton Keynes coming back, but again, Milton Keynes have been here, done that, tried that, and actually, I think they're fitting in again. They found their space, they found their place in the NIHL, and I think they're happy there too. So it's likelihood it's going to be newer franchises rather than existing franchises. Who knows? But as I say, we will come
Time will
back to it
tell.
later. Exactly.
Yeah, so that does bring us to the end of period 2. We are swimming along. There's times where we're on our end of the podcast and we haven't even got into period 1 yet, which is which is fun.
It's true.
So, with us just breaking the hour mark, let's get into period 3.
All right. Period 3 is our general Knocky news. Knocky
See,
news.
you and I have this on the ball now. Every time we're able to anyway,
We do.
sorry.
Exactly, we do. Knocky News is a roundup of just any other stories that have hit our attention that really just don't fit neatly into the other two periods. So I've only got one story, and then we're going to finish off the podcast as we always do. I find a few jerseys for us to have a look at and get your thoughts on. The main one I have picked out in the main story is this story that was put out. It was a bit of a fun story that the NHL put up on their website yesterday, and it was the Panthers. I don't know if you've seen this, Aaron. The Panthers equipment manager set a record for the number of hockey jerseys worn at the one time.
You
Obviously,
have to
you've
read
read
the first line of the sentence in character.
in character.
Yeah, the first line of this article you have to read in character.
I'm trying to think what character you're asking me to read it
Oh,
in.
come on. The first line is like, could he be wearing any more jerseys?
Oh, friends. Oh, okay. I was like, I completely blew my head. I was like, what are we talking about here? Yeah. Yeah. Could he be wearing any more hockey jerseys for Dakota King? Probably not. The Florida Panthers assistant equipment manager found a place in the history books, setting the Guinness World Record for the most ice hockey jerseys worn at once by putting on. You've already read the article, so I can't ask you how many you think. Putting on 40 jerseys at one time. 40 jerseys. The keeper of the cup posted a photo on Instagram on Wednesday of King in his Joey Tribbiani-esque outfit, in which he is wearing all of the 40 jerseys. Now, the reason I'm putting this one up is I think between us, I mean, if we were ever going to want to try and get a Guinness World Record, I'm just saying, if any one of us in this podcast wanted to try and get a Guinness World Record, I think we could take him on and get 41 jerseys. I mean, between us, we have.
Dave will have 40 by himself.
He does have 40. Right. I mean, I have what 30. I think I have 33 on this wall over here. I mean,
are we saying that what our next podcast is going to be a live attempt at this?
I mean, I'm thinking it should be a live YouTube video at some point. Should be us attempting to break a world record, and I think it should be this world record.
Squeezed it, like put it on the like all the jerseys on David and just like get them around him.
I mean, I think you have to be very. I think the one thing he'll have going for him, and the fact that he has 40 jerseys on, and because he does work for a team and he is the equipment manager, he has access to various different sized jerseys. So he has, he can start off with his smalls, his extra smalls, the smalls, right up to his 5XLs.
I've got Theo's jersey. I'm sure we could get that fitted onto him somehow, right?
I mean, I'm sure that would count, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'll get that over an arm, or I'm sure that we could. I think we could beat that 40, no bother.
I think we should try it. If there's ever a Guinness World Record, I think we could maybe try. I'm definitely thinking we should totally go in on this one and try and try and best him and go 41.
What I want to do though is like when we get there to 41, we just walk away and leave him and see if he can get out.
It's hilarious. So if you haven't seen it, definitely get over to the NHL website and have a quick look, or you can head over to Keeper of the Cup on Instagram, who has put up the post of the Guinness World Record for wearing the most hockey jerseys. But yeah, pretty fun. And I just thought I'd throw that in as one of the last stories for this period. Aaron, as we always do, we have to finish off our episode this week by looking at some jerseys. So let's get to it and have a quick look at the first jerseys of tonight. The first one I want to look at and get your thoughts on is this either monstrosity or fun jersey, if you will, depending on your take on it. We know certain podcast member on this hates themed jerseys, but this is the first. I think it's the first one I've seen of the Christmas themed jerseys. This is the Belfast Giants have released their jersey for this season, and it is taking the shape of a gingerbread house. The little video they put together to announce this jersey was pretty fun. They had a player basically pretend to bake the jersey in an oven and then pull it out, and it was pretty fun. I think the winner of the whole video was the fact that his dog featured heavily in the video, and I think that was what caught most people's attention and loved it most. So, Aaron, let's get your thoughts on this gingerbread themed jersey.
I promise I didn't just like this jersey again to be that guy I'm pretty sure you're talking about John. He hated it, right?
Yeah,
I do like it. I actually really like it. I don't think I'm going to buy it, to be fair, but I don't think it's like enough to buy. But I do think I think it's nice and clean. It's simple design. I love that it's weird. I'm going to say this. I love that the sponsorship is in the same color as the jersey. I think it allows it to get streamline into the jersey.
yep.
I think it's a nice, fun design.
I
And it's
agree
not
with you.
in your face Christmas.
I mean, I have a Christmas jersey. I like a nice Christmas jersey. I do. And I like this one. I think this one's pretty fun. And as you say, the one thing I will say is, again, yeah, you're right. The sponsorship fits in well. The main Belfast Harbour sponsorship stays within the color of the gingerbread color at the bottom, but all the other sponsorship is in white to fit in with the other little aspects of the jersey. And I think that it just makes it look far cleaner, far nicer. And yeah, I mean, it's harmless. It's a bit of fun. Would I buy it? Probably not. Will I maybe drop 10 quid on it for shut off the back? Maybe. Who knows? Bit of fun, and I actually don't mind this one. It's better than the regular season jersey, that's for sure. So that's saying something.
Our
But yeah,
regular
this is the
season
first.
journey is getting a slating. Like I think every single week we're going, well, it's better than regular season.
It's awful. It's awful. And the fact I've been watching more away games as well and seeing the white one. The white one is just it's painful to watch. It's painful to the eyes, definitely. So this is the first, I believe, of the Christmas themed jerseys, and the reason why it's put out is so that people could get their orders in for this jersey before so they arrive in time for Christmas. So I think that was the reason why it was released. But yeah, this is the first of them, and I'm sure as they'll start coming out in drips and drabs, and we'll obviously be looking at them in future podcasts as well as probably TikTok videos. So let's move on to the next one. The next one we have is the Glasgow Clan have their hero night on this coming Sunday, the 16th of November, against the Coventry Blaze, and they'll be wearing these hero warm-up jerseys as part of that hero night. I'm not sure if the hero night is also like a fan, like a child, like a kids takeover type thing as well.
Okay,
maybe it's not. I don't know, but I mean, as a hero jersey, as a superhero themed jersey, and being a nerd, what's your thoughts?
Is that
on
what
this?
it is?
It's supposed to be a superhero, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I the first time I saw this, I had this kind of like internal fight with myself in my brain. First time I hated it. First I was thinking, first time I saw it, I really didn't like it, and then it kind of started to grow on me. And what I liked about it was, for some strange reason, it reminded me of like the 90s, back in the day, gladiators.
Okay.
I've no idea why. It probably has nothing to do. It probably looks nothing like it. But in my head, I've related this to gladiators, and that's what. And I was trying to get that to like the heroes and the big G for gladiators and Glasgow Clan. So it was like, oh, okay, I quite like this. I think it's a bit funky. I don't see any connection to superheroes at all here. I don't get it to superheroes. So
I'm wondering if the shield in the middle, which I feel like is a really bad design. I feel like the Glasgow G, should be within that shield, because if you did that, it would be a bit more like Superman-esque, maybe. But I don't see superhero. I actually see supervillain in this jersey. So I am thinking, and I'm sorry for not knowing the character name, and you probably will know, having a Disney Pixar household, both probably with Theo and also Amy. Toy Story.
Zerg.
Where? Yes, yeah. His arch, uh, Buzz Lightyear's arch nemesis. That's what it looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Well, as soon as I see that, it reminds me of Zurg from Toy Story.
Very
And
good. I do see that too. Yeah.
so yeah,
So I think to some, yeah, okay. If it was a bad guy jersey, cool. Hero jersey, no. But if it was a gladiator jersey, I'm okay for a gladiator jersey. That's a weird one to say. Yes, depending
um,
on the team.
yeah, I'm not a big fan. The next jerseys we're going to look at are actually jerseys that have been played in, but I just wanted to I just wanted to put up because I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So we have seen the Belfast Giants do their cowboy western night in previous 2 seasons. Another team in the league have decided this year that they wanted to, they said, hold my beer, we're going to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardiff Devils. The Cardiff Devils went with this as their country style jerseys this past weekend, and they played in these jerseys, and they're now up for, I think, raffle or auction at the moment. For anybody who hadn't seen them, they are basically checked shirts with a cowboy hat in the middle with the Devils logo, and then the shorts and the sock covers are all look like jeans. So Aaron, um, what's your thoughts?
Do you know, I'm sitting here going through the history of this slide deck to see if I can see any of the other ones that we were talking about there, and I don't see them. I just see the Oktoberfest ones, which had some checked jerseys on it. Yeah, it's a choice. Do you know? I was thinking about this earlier. See if the paddings at the bottom, because obviously the shorts and the leg paddings are denim. They're supposed to be denim. I don't think I would hate this as much if that they were black denim or supposed to be black
Hmm.
denim.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I,
no,
d-
I
I
get
don't
that.
know why that would make it any better. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, if that was black denim, that would be fine. It would tie in the look a little bit better. I think making the black denim and getting rid of the hat and just making the Devils logo bigger would have
Yeah,
been.
the hat was real. I think the hat was a really random choice. I kind of like. I don't really understand why. Like, did they give these hats out as well, or were these hats available to buy on the night? Someone who was maybe in Cardiff can maybe answer that for us. But like, I just think it was a really random choice to add in a hat where the logo is super super tiny.
Now I can't really say anything because we talked earlier about the Nashville game tomorrow night. I'm not going to be able to watch that because my wife and I are going to a country and western or a country concert tomorrow night, and she was
Oh,
looking at like cowboy boots and hats and stuff like that. So you know what? Let's go for it. Everyone loves a bit of cowboy. Everyone loves Yellowstone at the moment, right?
well,
So
you
why
say
not?
everyone, you say everyone. Let's not paint everybody with that brush because I actually detest it so much with all my passion, body, and soul.
All the
Um,
cowboy stuff at the moment.
I hate it. Hate it all. The thing about these jerseys, which are really, really random, which I can't get my eye away from, is the collar. For some reason, just looks
Yeah.
like a giant, massive bow. I don't know why.
Oh no, you've ruined it. Okay, now I can't unsee
It just
that.
looks like a massive giant red bow, and I don't understand why.
Oh,
The other thing I was trying to do, and I tried my best and I tried my hardest to find it. And I know the boys from the Kingdom of the Giants, from A View from the Bridge, they could put their hand on the photograph that I'm talking about, like literally within seconds, because I know they have it somewhere. Back in his Belfast playing days, Todd Kelman did a photo shoot for a calendar, I believe, and
oh,
he was wearing cowboy outfit as part of that calendar photo.
very
And
good.
as soon as I seen Cardiff Devils are doing this, and this is the look, I was like, "Oh, it's Todd Kelman designing his
Do, do,
outfit from
do you
years
think that,
gone by."
that picture is in his office somewhere on the wall, and he was sitting there like just going, what should we do? What should we do? And he just caught eyes of himself.
100%, 100%. Yeah. I tried to find it everywhere and I couldn't find it anywhere. But as I say, I know the boys in FIFA and Bridge have it somewhere because I've seen them put it up before whenever Todd's been on the podcast. So they do have it. I
Very
just
good.
couldn't find it, which is just annoying. Anyway, let's move on to our last jerseys for
I
for the
want to
night.
know though. I do want to. I know that if you're watching live or if you're listening to this later on, let us know. Are you a fan of a country jersey or not?
Yeah,
Because I think country's all in at the moment.
yeah, let us know. And also, if you were in Cardiff, let us know if you could buy those hats or if those hats were a freebie for like the first 100 people who came to the door or something. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. The Olympic Games jerseys are starting to kind of trickle out. So the Olympics Games are coming up in 90 days' time. There's still issues with the rink, and the NHL are visiting next week. We talked about this in our last podcast about the safety
Yep.
concerns and the
Yep.
things. So the NHL are scheduled to fly over to Italy next week to basically do another recce to see what's going on. But in the meantime, some of the Olympic teams have been releasing their jerseys. This is the Finnish jersey, I believe,
Okay.
moving for the Olympic Games. Nice clean jersey. Nice bold emblem in the middle. Again, I love these jerseys obviously because they are clean. They don't obviously we don't see sponsorship on these types of things. And I just like the colors, the tone, everything about it, and I think it's a really nice jersey. What's your thoughts?
Do we think that, like we've seen in like playoff jerseys, they always have a similar theme and flow? Do we think that's what's going to happen here? Are all the jerseys going to have that band in the middle with the X and the lines, or is
Well, no, because we're about to look at the Canada jersey, which has been released, and you'll see that the Canada jersey is different, and it's also from a different provider in terms of I think this is
okay?
Nike who's providing
Okay, so
this one.
this is their own unique design. That's what
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
wondering. Is this the band across it something that's
No, no,
going to
no,
be
no. This is
all of
theirs.
them?
This is their design. This is what they've went with. The Canada jersey, which is the next one to look at, is this one. So Canada have released 3 jerseys for the upcoming Olympics. They have the red jersey, which is the standard red jersey. People are we'll get into people's responses to this in a few minutes. Then they've got the white jersey, which is the home and away jersey style, and then they've got the black alternate jersey. The red jersey and the black jersey are going for alternate colors. So the red jersey has the red body with the black stripes and the black maple leaf in the middle. And then on the other side, you have the black jersey, which has the red stripes, but also has a black maple leaf with a faded red border around the maple leaf. Aaron,
Do you
I'll go
know?
with my initial thoughts first, if that's okay.
Please,
Because
yeah.
whenever John shared these with us last week, he sent them in our group chat, and when we first looked at these, I thought to myself, these are beautiful. They're really, really nice. They're really, really nice, and I like the black one. I think a lot more than the other two. The other three are the other two, and I still stand by it. I like the overall design. My only thing, and when I went back and looked at them, the only thing that's really annoying me about the jersey is if you look at the back of the jersey and the arms of the jersey, okay, why are the bottom stripes and the arm stripes not fully wrapping around the jersey? Why do they just cut dead?
Stop. So you're telling me you're not going to buy this jersey because you cannot stand the fact that the bands don't connect together?
It's annoying me. It's annoying me. It's actually annoying me. It is actually genuinely annoying me. It's just it's a little
I'm
tiny
sure that
thing.
we could buy you like a biro or a Sharpie and we could color it in for you.
Oh, thanks. That would be nice. I have John. There's speaking of John. After him sending it, there's John putting this the comment in. Canada jerseys are fire. Damn Canadians don't know how good they have it. Hello, hi John.
Do you know,
Um,
I've been seeing some hate for these jerseys online.
I have too. I have seen a lot of hate for these jerseys, and mostly from Canadians. I think the
Yes.
main thing. Oh, sorry. Let's get your thoughts on the jersey first. Do you
Do you
like
know?
them?
Yeah, yeah. I do like that. I think what's interesting, and I don't know why I didn't connect the dots earlier because it's me, right? I didn't realize that they were both the Olympic jerseys until you said it earlier. They're so different.
Yeah,
Like the Finnish jersey that we talked about, it looks. I think it's maybe it's the logo, right? It's old school. It feels like an old traditional jersey, where the Canadians jersey is straight up. like insanely modern, I think, with the shine. I do like it. I like the red is my favorite. The one thing that I'm not sure about is, and it's probably these pictures, is the maple leaf shiny?
So it's not shiny, but it's been designed that it's three-toned. So it's got blacks, shades of grey, and white all mixed in together. So it
Yes.
makes it look like it's kind of like a 3D look. So I think the two of the big things that people are complaining about, especially Canadians, is one, the think that the red, and I kind of see where they're coming from. The red jersey they think should be a red and white striped
White.
jersey rather than a red and
Yep.
black stripe, because obviously the red and white is the Canadian colors.
Yep.
If I went to the wall over here, I've got my Canadian jersey over here, and it is a red and white jersey, which is a beautiful jersey. I think the other thing as well is they kind of would have preferred that the maple leaf in the middle was a white variation of a maple leaf rather than a black maple leaf. And the other complaint, which is just, I think, is a tiny bit nitpicking, is it's too sharp.
Sharp. The
Sharp.
maple leaf itself is too
The
sharp.
the leaf is too sharp.
Oh,
I know.
okay.
I know. Too sharp.
Take an eye out. Okay. Well, I think it's I am a fan. So I am. I'm a fan of the red one. I know that Anthony on the online there saying that white meh, red meh, but the black one is elite tier.
No, I think he's saying red and black are elite. I think he likes both red and black.
Oh,
White, meh, red and black are elite.
Sorry.
Yeah, so he'll have either of those. I think he's in the same boat as all of us. I think whenever we've seen these jerseys, I think we're like red and black is amazing. But I'm not a big fan of the white jerseys in general anyway. But yes, the red one. I think if I was going to buy one, and taking aside the weird cut off stripes at the back, I think probably I would be going for the red one. I think.
I think I'd be going for the red one.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get them on a buy one get one free deal, and we'll get the red one and the black one.
Yeah, or do as or maybe not condoning this, but John had a comment earlier. Not condoning that, but yeah, there you go.
Other websites are available.
other websites, legit websites are also available. I think that is it. I'm just double check and see. Yep.
They are. I'm still getting over the fact they're so different. The two jerseys are quite different. As I say, one feels more traditional, and the Canada one feels a lot more modern.
Yeah, I'm excited about. I'm excited about the fact that we now have hockey jerseys. We have hockey jerseys coming out, or Christmas jerseys coming out, which we can talk about, and we're going to also have Olympic jerseys coming out over the next few weeks that we're going to be able to talk about. So there's loads of content for the podcast in the coming weeks. Our favorite part of the podcast. So, and I have been looking at your suggestion last week, Aaron, 2 weeks ago, sorry, about some kind of like jingle style something for this part of the podcast. I'm working on it, so hopefully in the next either the next podcast or the one after that, we'll have something for the jersey segment of the podcast. That is it for this week, I believe. Yep, we have no more stories. So all it leaves us to do is sign off our podcast as we always do. As I was saying at the start, you can check out this podcast, all of the other podcasts that we have done, and you can do that. Check it out on our website at door14hockey.com. I'll just chuck up the QR code here in the corner for anybody who's watching can follow the QR code and it'll take you to our website directly. As I say, this podcast, all the other podcasts will be up there, and you can check those all out. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the little things you do on YouTube with the bell and all that stuff in the corners where it is, somewhere here, whatever. So yes, don't forget to subscribe. I have been looking at the statistics and stuff from the recent videos, and I believe that what's the common thing that YouTubers say? If 90% of the viewers are not subscribed to our channel, so therefore, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. We will be back this week with a new video, a brief history of the Coventry Blaze. Will be out on Monday at our usual time, about 7 p.m. And then the following week, we have a 10 list for the NCAA tournament, because the Friendship 4 will be that week. So we'll have the NCAA 10 things to know about the NCAA coming out as well in the following week. We have a couple of other little bits and pieces coming up towards the Christmas period, including a video on silly, crazy Christmas gifts and weird merchandise that have been on the market in the past few years. The Cardiff Devils chain might feature. Who knows? So you can check that out on our YouTube channel. And the last but not least,
Giants one.
Exactly. Last but not least, Giants one. The Giants one's definitely going to be the giant foam pocket thing.
Yeah,
that's totally going to feature. Not to give away all my top 10 list. Jesus, don't want to give it away now. But anyway, that will feature. If you haven't done so already, check out our socials. The QR code is in the corner for anybody watching. We are on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok at Door14Hockey. So go over and check it out and follow us over there. Some great videos going out on TikTok as well. John, as Aaron said at the top of the episode, putting in some great content there. So don't forget to go over there and check that out and follow us there. And we are a podcast first and foremost. Don't forget to like and leave us a review and all those good things that you do on your podcast provider of choice. That really does help us go up the algorithm and get seen by others. So we appreciate that. So thank you very much. That is it for this week. I think all that leaves us to do is sign off for this episode. I'm Marty.
I'm Aaron.
Have a great week.